Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about another gameplay-focused mod, but this is a pretty major mod for Rome 2 Total War. This is Rome 2 Total Realism version 3 by Jam. So just to explain here, this is not related to the original Rome Total Realism mod series for the original Rome Total War. This is more so related to the Realism mod series by Jam, developed for Empire, Napoleon, and here for Rome 2. So this mod was out of the spotlight recently because it was not compatible with that latest patch by CA that was released a few years ago for Rome 2, the Rise of the Republic patch. And it has been updated fairly recently, several months ago, I think. And so now it's fully compatible. It's available on the Steam Workshop. It's not a huge download, not a huge mod in terms of, all the graphics that really bloat the sizes of mods. But in any case, this mod is, again, a gameplay-focused mod, and I'm going to show you how it affects both the campaign side of things as well as the battle side of things in just a second. Okay, so as you can see, we're playing as Bactria here, and first thing I want to show you, perhaps the most drastic change, is the fact that all units, even super levy ones, take 2 turns to recruit. I think this is actually a good change because this change was made for the purpose of reducing stack spam. And of course, in Rome 2, when you recruit units, you can recruit multiple units in the same turn. And of course, you don't have to be in a settlement to recruit units. And I don't dislike the Rome 2 recruitment system. I just think that it lends itself more to stack spam, especially for when the AI is cheating, right? On higher difficulties especially. So I actually like this change. Anything to reduce stack spam. I really hate stack spam. It's one of the reasons why it's difficult to play late into Total War campaigns, because you're facing 5 stacks per turn. It just gets grindy. It becomes more of a grind, especially in vanilla. So I like this change. The other thing regarding armies is that if you click on a settlement here, you are severely limited in terms of the number of armies you can raise in Rome 2 Total Realism. I think this is a good change. It was really difficult for smaller and medium-sized kingdoms to support huge armies and multiple armies. So I appreciate this change. It does add to the realism, to the immersion, when there aren't 100 stacks running around, even if you're a tiny army. That's actually one of my issues with, games like, what was it, Imperator Rome as well. It's super easy for small kingdoms to hire huge mercenary forces and supply them and things like that. It's just not realistic. It's a little bit immersion breaking. But additionally, you can see that techs have also been seriously overhauled. So if you look at organized supply here, it takes 16 turns to research organized supply. And of course, it gives you another field army. I actually like that because, of course, the issues with raising armies were supply issues, right? You look at the Achaemenid economic texts from the Persepolis Fortification Archive, and you can see how difficult it was to supply even just the king's camp and his retinue, right? Let alone a huge army. So organized supply gives you an extra army. Now, this is one of the aspects of the mod that I think is a little bit too extreme. It just takes too long for these later techs. I don't know. I don't have enough time in the day to wait 64 turns to get monumental architecture and build a silver mint. That's just a little bit too long. I understand the realism aspect of it all, but it's also a game, and it's cool if you get the ability to actually get into the late game and construct such late era buildings, right? So I get it on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's a bit much. Additionally, buildings are overhauled as well. So if we build up Maracanda here, you can see buildings require different things. So Musterfield takes 2 food, and then these barracks, they take different amounts of food. They take a little bit more time, and they are a little bit more expensive than they are in vanilla. So that's fine. I actually, the building system in Rome 2 is definitely not my favorite. I prefer the building system in the original Rome and Medieval 2, and having hidden resources determine what specific buildings you can construct in certain regions. I just, as a Civ player, as someone who grew up on Civilization, I really like the building aspect in the campaign of Total War. And the building aspect in games like Rome 2, it just bothers me to have all these limitations. I don't know how Shogun 2 does it. Shogun 2's building system doesn't bother me as much. But again, it's limiting. It's limiting, and I don't like that. So, in regards to battles in Rome 2 Total Realism, so battles, again, follow the formula of the original realism mods by Jam, so Empire Realism and Napoleon Realism. So fatigue is replaced by something called cohesion. And unit cohesion is sort of a combination of things. It includes fatigue, it includes flanking, it includes strategy, it includes the proximity of your general. It includes all of those things, right? So your unit's morale is determined by all of these things. So if your unit has good cohesion, it's going to be able to hold off an enemy unit that is superior but has bad cohesion, right? So if that enemy unit is not supported on the flank by its general or by a cavalry unit or by another infantry support unit, it's going to break, right? Especially if you can get cavalry around there. It's going to really hurt the AI. Right? And again, if you are in control of a superior force and you're against an inferior enemy, in the realism mods, this goes for all the realism mods for Napoleon and Empire as well, you've got to pay attention. You can't just fight willy-nilly, right? It immerses you in the game because you have to manage your battles well. All of your battles, because an inferior force, if you don't support your troops well enough, you're going to lose a ton of troops for no reason. You're going to lose battles. You're going to have units rout if they are not supported properly on the flanks, if they're not supported by your general, if you just charge them in willy-nilly, if you cause them to have fatigue for no reason, right? So that's something I really appreciate about the realism mods. Again, this goes for all of them. Napoleon and Empire as well. Even with those games inferior, well, Napoleon's AI is actually good. With Empire's AI in realism is pretty good as well. Your unit cohesion is so important. And it's really cool how Jam has been able to sort of introduce these realistic effects to morale and fatigue by implementing his cohesion system. And of course, also the formation of the unit matters as well. You can't just order your cavalry to charge through your infantry. That'll kind of break their cohesion, break their formation, and it will cause your units to lose morale, right? I mean, historically, when units sort of overlapped each other, it caused morale to break, right? This happened many times, like at the Siege of Antioch with Kerbogaz's army that was trying to besiege the Crusaders who had recently taken Antioch. You have something that happens there. You have a similar thing that happens to Pyrrhus. That's why he died in battle, because his troops were routing into his own troops and routing his own troops, right? So these are all aspects that are implemented in Rome 2 Total Realism. Again, super cool battle mechanics. I really admire Jam for his ability to make these battles feel as realistic as possible. It's really amazing that what he has been able to achieve in Empire Realism, Napoleon, and Rome 2 as well. So that's pretty much everything I have to say about Rome 2 Total Realism version 3. You can check it out in the link in the description below. It's available on the Steam Workshop. Again, one of the greatest aspects of this mod is that it is a small download, even though it's a complete overhaul in terms of the gameplay. It doesn't include too much graphical stuff, so it's compatible with a lot of graphical mods. And it is, again, a small download. I think a lot of people will appreciate that. Additionally, you can find a link to Jam's Discord for all of his realism mods in Napoleon Empire and Rome 2 through a link in the description below. And again, if you like videos about the historical Total Wars and their mods, consider subscribing to this channel, consider liking the video, and I'll see you in the next one. I will try to be recording more regularly. I'll try to be streaming more regularly because I've gotten settled. I was a bit busy the past month or so. It seems like I've been busy the past year and a half, really. But in any case, I hope to get back to work more regularly. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one later.